Hi, I just met a cute girl in a supermarket and I don't know her. I just a French scientist. Well, I know that she has a good taste of beer actually, but that's about all. And we came to talking about work and about life, and she's a neuroscientist, something like that, something with the nerve system. Didn't quite understand it, but I understood the problem is within the body, and the solution is also within the body. And once again I thought to myself, it's not, it's outside the body. The problem, and maybe also the solution. May I remember that the soul has 7 structures, 7 bodies, always starting on the horizontal line. And I think I never mentioned so far that in every hour part, in every second one, always in the first, third, fifth and 7th, the organs of the body are also inside this aura body. So 1, 3, 5, 7, 4 levels, your organs are represented in your soul. That makes the whole chakra, aura and ether system a very medical thing. Remember, Barbara and Brennan's book are originally in German. Oh, that's really good. It was a really good idea. So you see, it gave me an idea, and that brought me to the thing, to the point that I said, I have to do it right now because I forget it. Imagine this is a human being, a handy. Isn't that genius? Human being is a handy. What would a handy be if there would be no frequency? Nothing. I mean, you could play some games maybe, if you program it. A computer without internet, Wi-Fi. All that stuff comes from outside. And what I tell you is that with every disease, every heart attack, cancer, whatever you can find, there is a point that comes from outside. I even believe maybe 100% of it is from outside, not from inside. Every disease starts outside the body. So why don't we think that way in the first place? Well, I can tell you only the historical part. I think I've mentioned that. It is the difference between St. Augustine and Athanasius. Athanasius said there are things around God, peri-auton. So God has a kind of an aura. And St. Augustine said the ideas of God, the ideas of Plato are inside God. Plato was the big philosopher these days. I'm in the 3rd, 4th century now, BC. So in this time Plato was the one and only. It's like the Einstein of this time. And so this was the leading idea of bringing the Orthodox Church for the chakra, aura and ether system quite open, and God's energy, as I tell in different videos. Let's listen to the tolerance and so on. I will not go into that now, I'll stay with medicine right now. And the Western world went on with the ideas inside God, with St. Augustine, Thomas of Aquinas, then Aristotle, and all the other stuff. Modern science, quantum physics, even Einstein. So you can see this cultural difference starts very soon. So we just have to change the view and think that the outside is as much as important as the inside. In fact, inside the body we see only the reaction of the happenings outside the body, or at least in another dimension. It might be that, speaking about the place of the happening, it might be somewhere inside, but it's not the body. The point is that the aura is in another dimension, otherwise you would see it. And the horror line is even 1 dimension below that, or above that, whatever. So let's say the 5th dimension. And the essence of your soul is even 1 dimension below that, or above that, whatever. I would ever say above. Maybe we are the lowest dimension. 3rd dimension is actually the lowest, I would say. And the others are above us. But this is just a suggestion. And we are all working at the same place. And what happens in the other dimensions affects the matter. So I am of this third kind. You know, it's not the matter being first and the soul reacting, or being epiphenomenon or something like that. It's not duality, matter and spirituality next to each other. No, there is a kind of spiritual physics with laws. We need to discover these laws. They are the basic for the material reality. And to be not thought as this kind of stupid thing, there is proof. There is computer data. It's really good. Don't worry, I've looked it up for years now. I will remember that. So let's go through it quickly. There is the Princeton University with the Global Consciousness Project. Every beginner in that field, start over there. They can measure Pentecost, Christmas, any happening like terror attacks with random generators. And they can prove the ether exists. The experiment of the ether has been repeated from the US, not Navy, aerospace, something like that. The pilot. Ether exists. Look at the Global Consciousness Project. The military, I cannot repeat it in English, although it was an American experiment. They have repeated their experiment from 1877 and just found it different. And it's published in the Nature magazine, actually. So, the ether is there. We have a connection between each other. You go to the, and you can go to it on the homepage. You can see it, and every time Christmas, look at it. Go to the homepage of the Global Consciousness Project. You can see it live. The biggest measurement was the terror attack from 9/11. They could measure it 3 hours before, and I think 6 hours later. Just imagine the prophecy is possible. Time is relative. Einstein said that. That's not new. The subjective level of this is important. Our physical matter is objective. The spiritual matter is subjective. So if you feel, if you think, this has an impact on the spiritual matter. That's why an illness is happening to one person and not to all. Yeah, what about influenza? It's different. Usually one person is ill. Not everything is an epidemic thing. There are different kind of matters in the physical world, like stone, water, metal, whatever. So I believe there are different kind of matters in the spiritual world as well. We just don't know so much about it. Let's go to the Indian Spiritual Science Research Foundation. What a long name. ESSRF is the short version. I have also a homepage, YouTube channel, everything's there. They can measure the effect of prayer on the chakras. Indian, you can find it in the internet. I'm sorry, English is not my mother tongue, forgive me. They have created their own computer system to measure that stuff. I mean, isn't that incredible? And we just don't realize that. We don't take these things so serious. And this is the problem. We will never get any disease solution on a long term without medicine, we don't need tablets or that stuff. It's all a matter of frequency. I'm sure if we once studied that completely, we will have no pharmacy anymore needed, except for maybe bleeding stuff or simple things. Forget chemistry, chemotherapy in the old way. There are different ways with frequency healing. Take Dieter Brös, is an Austrian scientist. He has accidentally found the 8 Hertz frequency as a healing frequency. Once you stimulate the body on that frequency, pictures appear, and if you work out the pictures, your emotions get clean and your body gets healed. Even cancer has been healed on that way on some occasions. Once again, spiritual physics works only if you believe in it. It's like Jesus said, what do you want me to do? He was a master in that, yeah. And then he said, go, your belief has helped you. It's ipsissima vox, I believe, as original words of Jesus, I think. I cannot prove that, but I believe. But the most important, and maybe not well known to the English-speaking or French-speaking world, is Klaus Vorkammer. I believe he's the Aristotle of our time, because he has really measured the weight of your soul is 1.5 kilograms by a sleeping person. It's not the experiment with a dead person with a few grams in the 19th century. 1.5 kilograms by a sleeping person. And your thoughts have about a microgram every thought. Healing hands have 4 micrograms. You can measure that. He put some glasses in a vacuum cube, and he measured it, and then he said to the people, think about it. Think on that glass. And it became a microgram heavier. And then he said, stop thinking. And people stopped thinking, and it became lighter again. So you can measure an effect on any kind of matter in a vacuum cube just by thinking. So, for example, if you pray for Africa, Africa gets a little bit heavier. Our thoughts are tools, hammer, nails, whatever you want. And we need to learn to work with this. This is a new kind of medicine we have not really discovered yet. We only have very, very rudiment. I would like, for example, this girl, this woman, she was quite, we need open-minded scientists. Be skeptical, be critical, but look at it, prove it. Look up the Global Consciousness Project, the Indian Spiritual Science Research Foundation, and somebody needs to translate that book from Klaus Vorkammer into English. I cannot do that. This is too much mathematics and physics for me. I can understand the philosophical part, but when it comes to the counting, it's above my knowledge. So somebody please translate that into English. Klaus Vorkammer, Spiritual Matter. Define, give me a minute. That's the German book. So zoom it in, look it up, buy it, translate it into English. I think it's only available in German. He's a doctor of physical chemistry in Switzerland. So many things are possible. We don't look at it. And this is, of course, the good and only, one and only Barbara Ann Brennan for the structure of the soul. This is available in English. This woman is originally American, so this is the translation into German, even very much with this kind of pictures. I don't know where they are. You can learn very simple. So this is the aura, this is the soul. And once again, Hildegard von Bingen says the same thing about the soul, and she says about the aura. So I'm speaking here about the soul of every human being. This is your soul, folks. The aura is not some kind of crude thing. This is what you take for eternity. When you die, this is, your body goes to grave, but this stays on. That's why I personally believe this is the origin. Your soul is the origin. That lives forever. Your body dies, but your soul not. And I even believe in reincarnation right now. So your soul comes back. This does not stop evolution. It makes evolution possible in one way or another. Evolution is, you see, we are learning things on this. I would need this girl right here now. I need somebody to discuss this stuff. Then I'm better. It's so lonely. It's a little bit, I forgot that. What was it? Evolution. I think I cannot make this alone, but believe me, we're coming on this earth to learn. It does not stop the evolution. It's one step. It was not Sigmund Freud, it was C.G. Jung, about the collective subconsciousness. He has already experiments with different patients from different countries and different continents telling him the same things, which they couldn't possibly know, which is again a proof for the ether.